Hi, my name is Sunil Varkey. I work in the information security domain for the last 20 years. Based on my experience in the cybersecurity field, I thought of sharing a small video on that. In our current situation, we are all adopting new digital technologies and devices for our day-to-day activities, starting from the office work, the schools for the kids, shopping, entertainment, communication, literally for everything we are using the cyber world now or the digital technologies. While this has become extremely normal to our living right now, we need to be extremely cautious and sensitive to the fact that the cyber world is not same as the physical world. While the cyber world has a lot of advantages and benefit to all of us, it can also be have much dangerous in all aspects. Blackmailing, extortion, character assassination, threats, malwares, confidential information getting shared, photos getting compromised, forcing us to participate in a frauds or illegal activities are all known to many of us either through the different news medias or an access to a person directly or indirectly who had an experience to that. One of the most prominent thing in this particular attacks is happening is on the cyberbullying. And many kids, many teens, literally many of the people around us are going through a cyberbullying issue. Cyberbullying is much impactful than a physical bullying for the reason that in many times in cyberbullying we don't know who is doing it, and you cannot have a direct evidence of what has happened. So one of the major difference between a physical bullying to a cyberbullying is in a physical bullying you know exactly who is doing it and what is their strength, what is around them, what are they trying to threaten us on that, so we know a lot of information. But in the cyber world most of these answers are unknown. So in any investigation, there are six parameters like who, what, how, when, where, and why. And that answers actually lead us to identify the details of the crime. But in a cyber world, many of those informations are unknown. It can be somebody who is sitting next to you. It can be a close relative. It can be somebody whom you very well or a neighbor. He may be involved in that. And in the physical world, they don't exhibit any of these traits. And in the cyberbullying, you cannot go many a times to discuss with anybody or share what the trouble you are going through, and that is a big challenge in the cyberbullying. And unfortunately people very close to a person, a victim of a cyberbullying, also doesn't understand that what the trouble that person is going through, because it may be because of their fear, shame, or the fear of getting blamed for their first being friendly with in the internet, or sharing photographs or posting comments, so or ego. So many people take a back step, they don't share with anybody, and which is extremely bad. And over time we will start seeing their impact of cyberbullying on those people. I strongly suggest that if you are going through a cyberbullying in any manner, please reach out to your parents if your kids, or to your spouse, or somebody who is extremely trustworthy, and share your problem. They are not going to solve your problem overnight. For them, this may be the first time they are hearing about such an issue or facing a dilemma of this nature. But for sure, you need your support. You need somebody to talk to, to understand how to handle it. Our legal systems are strong. Our police are strong. They have very strong rules against this thing. They can help you to, they can find out the person who is involved in this thing. They can bring the culprit to justice without disclosing your identity to anybody. So they have a dedicated group on that. Always need to use. There are NGOs who can support us. And what is happening currently on the cyber world is nothing new if you look at the history of the physical world attacks. Anywhere where there was a valuable asset easily can be exploited and difficult to trace back, attacks always happened in the physical world. And that is the same situation currently the cyber world is going through. Because cyber world is not matured, it is still a no man's land, or like a wild west. So that is why you need to be extremely careful on that. We humans are designed to trust our fellow people, fellow human beings much easily in the physical world. If you take the same trait to the cyber world, we'll end up in trouble because we are not even establishing the identity of the person on the other side, and due to which you need to consider this too in a totally different manner. Every individual or major or many of the individuals has different personas in the cyber world and in the physical world, and that is quite unfortunate. So due to which their behavior in the cyber world can be totally different. Like we were always taught, prevention is better than cure. So few suggestions is that upload only photos which your grandparents will approve. And please be aware that the cyber world is don't forget things. What you post, comment, upload. It could replicate to other sites. For sure that each time you upload a comment, that it is good to see by everybody and it is in the right cautious of mind you are doing it. You cannot define that who has to see or who should not see any post or comments or photos you upload. It can be seen by anybody. It can be your teacher, it can be your subordinate, it can be your friend, it can be your spouse, anybody can see. And hundreds of people who are nowhere related can also see your post. So every time when you do that thing, you need to be extremely clear. And you also need to be sensitive to the fact that internet is not the truth of the source of every truth in the world. Many news what you see there are manipulated. Forged identities are keeping it. And these are fake news. Many are fake news. You need to be extremely cautious before deciding your opinion or taking an action based on on information seen on any website. Your postings, comments, interest defines your personality. So whatever you post or whatever your viewpoint you take in the internet, good or bad, it actually creates a perspective about your or perception about your identity in the physical world also, because the influence of cyber world in the physical world is so strong. So be very careful about that. Emotional comments and postings should be avoided because this is a wild west there. Avoid peer pressures and emotional responses in the cyber world for sure. And be very clear, nothing comes for free in the world. So if somebody is offering you to part their grandfather's gold mine, be extremely cautious. Nothing comes for free. You need to take a step saying, because they are trying to exploit the trust you have given, and that is easy to do. Now for the parents, it is true that your kids need to have access to internet, access to digital space, because the schools mandates it, because that is the new world we are going through it. But kids need supervision. They are not tuned or programmed or brought up to wander in the internet without adequate supervision. Ensure minimum privileges for them. Access and the time to access or to be in the cyber has to be limited. Do not allow them to use computers in closed rooms. Ideally, it has to be in an open room, but there could be a situation where noise because of the voice, they need to be in a closed room, but make sure the rooms are accessible to you at any point of time. If possible, enable parental controls in the web access. Be upfront with your kid on what you are doing and why you are doing it. It is not a privacy invasion. It is to handhold them in the dangerous space. If kids are resisting for it, you need to have a detailed discussion to make them understand or the issue, or they are already in trouble where they need help. It is not cool to give a free pass in the cyber world always, because for most of them are not fully prepared or not have an immunity to blindly maneuver in the cyber world. When they reach out to you with a problem which they are facing out, give your ears to listen to that. Be with them. Don't start the blame game because they have nowhere else to go. We all are there together. The agencies, NGOs, people, we are all concerned about the well-being of everybody. So let us all work together to make this cyber world a much better space. Always prevention is better than cure. Thank you.